And now, the Deeper Thinking podcast, where philosophy, psychology, and power collide.
Welcome to the Deeper Thinking podcast. This episode explores the smartphone, one of the most transformative and debated technological artifacts of our era. Its influence is examined with depth, nuance, and contemporary relevance. Rather than a simplistic celebration or a polemical denouncement, this episode embarks on a measured and engaging exploration of the smartphone's evolution, from a basic communication tool to a complex interface that reshapes identity, perception, and social interaction. Drawing on insights from seminal thinkers such as Heidegger, Baudrillard, and Foucault, we trace how this ubiquitous device has altered the very fabric of modern life, influencing everything from our daily habits to the broader contours of cultural and political discourse. The episode delves into the intricate ways the smartphone mediates our experiences, challenging traditional boundaries between the physical and digital realms. We consider how it functions as both a liberator, empowering connectivity and democratizing information, and a subtle instrument of control, shaping our behavior and even our collective memory. By engaging with perspectives from digital theorists, cultural critics, and sociologists, we present a balanced dialogue that unpacks both the promise and the peril embedded in our reliance on this modern marvel. Whether you're a tech enthusiast, a student of philosophy, or simply curious about how smartphones are redefining human interaction in the digital age, this episode offers a thought-provoking exploration of the ethical, cultural, and existential questions that continue to shape our world. If you love what we do, please leave a quick review and rating on iTunes or Spotify, and be sure to check us out on YouTube. Let's dive in. The ubiquity of the smartphone in contemporary existence prompts a re-examination of the relationship between technology and human consciousness, inviting us to reconsider the contours of perception and experience. At its core, the device embodies a convergence of art, science, and philosophy that destabilizes our traditional notions of time, space, and identity. Drawing on the insights of Martin Heidegger, the smartphone emerges as a modern artifact that reveals the hidden dimensions of our being in the world, simultaneously concealing and disclosing layers of existence. In this unfolding dynamic, the device is neither merely an inert tool nor a detached mediator. Rather, it acts as a portal that continuously negotiates the interplay between presence and absence, immediacy and distance. By mediating communication, memory, and emotion, the smartphone challenges our understanding of authenticity and immediacy. The experience of constant connectivity redefines solitude and community, as each interaction has the potential to reshape our inner landscapes. Jean Baudrillard's concept of hyperreality finds renewed relevance in this digital age, suggesting that the interface creates a simulacrum where representations replace direct experience. Here, the boundary between the real and the reproduced dissolves, inviting a critical inquiry into how virtual engagement affects our sense of self. Michel Foucault's analysis of surveillance and power further illuminates the dual nature of the smartphone. The device functions not only as a conduit for personal expression, but also as an instrument of observation, capturing intimate fragments of daily life and integrating them into expansive networks of control. This omnipresent gaze raises profound questions about freedom and privacy, urging a reassessment of the ethical implications embedded within digital connectivity. Moreover, the smartphone symbolizes a modern myth of progress, an emblem of both liberation and constraint that shapes our cultural narrative. It stores vast repositories of memory and information, acting as an extension of human cognition that catalyzes shifts in how we perceive reality. In navigating this terrain, we are compelled to negotiate a delicate balance between embracing technological innovation and maintaining critical awareness of its transformative effects. Ultimately, the smartphone invites us to confront the paradox of modern existence, the simultaneous promise of unprecedented access to knowledge, and the risk of losing touch with the tangible, authentic experiences that define our humanity. In this interplay of technological marvel and philosophical inquiry, the smartphone emerges as a mirror reflecting the complexities of contemporary life. It challenges us to reconsider what it means to be present, to interact, and to understand ourselves in an era dominated by digital mediation. Thus, the smartphone stands not as a mere instrument of modern convenience, but as a profound catalyst that transforms our inner worlds, urging us to continually interrogate the essence of human connectivity and selfhood with unwavering resolve. Building upon the exploration of technological presence, we now examine the smartphone's transformative role in the shaping of social identities and cultural practices. The device, in its silent omnipresence, mediates a constant dialogue between the individual and society, reconfiguring traditional modes of interaction and self-expression. In a manner reminiscent of Gilles Deleuze's concept of the rhizome, the smartphone disperses influence through a non-hierarchical network of connections, wherein every contact, message, and digital impression interweaves to form a complex tapestry of modern existence. This multiplicity of signals challenges linear narratives of progress, instead fostering a fluid, dynamic interplay that is both emancipatory and, at times, disorienting. In this context, the smartphone operates as an arena where personal identity is constantly renegotiated through digital avatars and curated social presences. As the philosopher Zygmunt Bauman argued in his reflections on liquid modernity, the rapid pace of technological change undermines fixed notions of self, rendering identity a transient construct susceptible to continual revision. This impermanence, while offering freedom from rigid social constraints, also engenders a pervasive anxiety rooted in uncertainty and fragmentation. The ceaseless stream of notifications and updates generates a form of digital restlessness, compelling individuals to persistently reassemble and reassert their identities in an ever-evolving digital landscape. Moreover, the smartphone intensifies the convergence of the public and private spheres, dissolving boundaries that once demarcated personal introspection from communal discourse. In the light of Jürgen Habermas's theories on communicative action, one may observe that digital interactions, while ostensibly fostering democratic dialogue, often succumb to the pressures of commercialization and algorithmic governance. The balance between authentic self-representation and performative social engagement becomes precarious, as mediated interactions obscure the line between genuine discourse and calculated presentation. The ethical implications of this pervasive connectivity are profound. The smartphone, by enabling constant surveillance and data commodification, poses challenging questions regarding autonomy and consent. It demands a re-examination of the principles underlying digital ethics, urging a reconsideration of how privacy, agency, and moral responsibility are negotiated in a realm where every moment is both recorded and monetized. Consequently, the device is emblematic of a broader societal shift, a transformation that necessitates critical scrutiny of the power dynamics at play within our increasingly digitized world. In its multifaceted role as both a liberator and a constraint, the smartphone continues to redefine the parameters of modern life, inviting an ongoing dialogue about the interplay between technology, identity, and the human condition. This inquiry challenges us to navigate digital ambivalence, balancing innovation with introspection while confronting ethical dilemmas where every interaction becomes both a data point and a narrative fragment. Embracing such complexity invites us to redefine our core notions of existence, urging a mindful rearticulation of identity in modernity with urgency. The evolution of digital cognition triggered by the omnipresence of the smartphone requires a critical re-evaluation of how memory, attention, and perception are reshaped in an era defined by constant digital input. The integration of technology with human thought generates a paradigm shift reminiscent of Walter Benjamin's insights, where modernity disrupts traditional forms of knowledge and recollection. In this dynamic, the boundaries between internal memory and external information storage dissolve, creating a cognitive symbiosis in which the device becomes an extension of the self, a living repository that transforms the nature of remembrance and reflective thought. This emergent digital consciousness challenges established epistemologies by fostering an environment in which the velocity of data retrieval often outpaces deliberate contemplation. Marshall McLuhan's assertion that the medium is the message resonates powerfully here, as the smartphone actively shapes experience rather than serving merely as a conduit for communication. Its capacity to instantly archive, retrieve, and disseminate information undermines the slow reflective processes traditionally associated with deep learning, engendering instead a state of perpetual distraction that disrupts the formation of lasting memories. Such an environment produces a cognitive landscape marked by fragmented attention and a selective, fleeting recall of information. The pervasive influence of the smartphone also extends to the construction of collective memory and digital narratives. By mediating both personal recollections and shared historical experiences, it reconfigures our understanding of past events, a process echoing Pierre Nora's concept of sites of memory, now recast in a digital medium. This reconfiguration necessitates a re-evaluation of ethical considerations regarding the commodification of memory and the preservation of identity in a networked society. The smartphone simultaneously democratizes access to information while reducing personal data to a currency in the digital marketplace. Furthermore, the relentless barrage of digital stimuli compels a renewed inquiry into the nature of focus and the art of sustained attention. As contemporary scholars note, the hyperstimulation characteristic of modern digital environments challenges our ability to engage in thoughtful reflection. This transformation of cognitive processes, catalyzed by rapid technological advancement, calls for innovative educational paradigms and mental practices that reconcile the benefits of immediate information access with the imperatives of deep, contemplative thought. In this shifting landscape, the interplay between technology and cognition invites us to redefine what it truly means to remember, to think, and ultimately to exist. This evolving interplay of digital mediation and cognitive transformation underscores an urgent need to cultivate new intellectual practices that honor both technological innovation and human depth. By embracing this challenge, we forge a path toward a more reflective engagement with the digital world, ensuring that progress does not come at the expense of thoughtful, enduring human insight. Ultimately, this synthesis transforms how we conceptualize knowledge. In contemporary society, the smartphone has emerged as a dynamic catalyst for economic transformation and political realignment, embodying the fusion of technological innovation and market imperatives. The device not only revolutionizes communication, but also redefines the mechanisms of value extraction, transforming every digital interaction into a commodity that fuels a vast network of economic exchange. At the heart of this transformation lies a subtle process of data commodification, where individual behaviors, preferences, and interactions are meticulously harvested and analyzed, creating a detailed portrait of human activity that can be monetized by powerful corporations and state actors alike. Drawing on the critical theories of Karl Marx, the smartphone can be seen as a modern manifestation of commodity fetishism, where social relations are obscured by layers of digital abstraction and market transactions. Every swipe, tap, and notification is recorded, processed, and repurposed, thereby converting intimate human experiences into quantifiable economic assets. This process, while promising greater connectivity and personalized experiences, also entrenches a system of surveillance capitalism that thrives on constant data extraction. As individuals become both the producers and consumers of digital content, they are increasingly ensnared in a feedback loop that reinforces the dominance of market forces over personal autonomy. The political dimensions of smartphone technology further complicate this landscape by introducing mechanisms for real-time monitoring and predictive analytics that shape behavior and inform governance. With these tools, both corporate entities and state agencies can discreetly influence public opinion and political outcomes, effectively blurring the lines between democratic engagement and authoritarian control. This shift, which scholars like Michel Foucault have critiqued for its capacity to reconfigure power dynamics, signals a profound transformation in the relationship between technology, society, and individual freedom. In the realm of digital politics, ethical dilemmas arise as personal privacy is compromised in exchange for the promise of tailored services and enhanced connectivity. This trade-off necessitates a critical reimagining of social contracts that can balance the imperatives of innovation with the preservation of individual rights. The ethical implications of this digital order compel us to consider not only the immediate benefits of connectivity, but also the long-term consequences of pervasive surveillance and market domination. By re-examining these complex intersections of technology, economy, and politics, we are invited to envision alternative models of digital engagement that prioritize human dignity and collective well-being over mere profit. In doing so, the smartphone transforms from a tool of passive consumption into an active arena for the negotiation of power, ethics, and identity in an increasingly complex world. This multifaceted phenomenon challenges us to critically assess our current trajectory and imagine futures where technological innovation serves as a means of social and political empowerment rather than an instrument of control and exploitation. Deep within the labyrinth of modern life, the smartphone emerges as both a vessel of connectivity and a crucible for ethical and existential inquiry. Its omnipresence compels us to examine the delicate balance between autonomy and conformity, between genuine self-expression and the mediated image that unfolds on digital screens. Every interaction on this device, whether a fleeting notification or a meticulously curated post, serves as both mirror and mold, reflecting our innermost desires while shaping our actions to align with pervasive societal norms. Inspired by existentialist thinkers such as Jean-Paul Sartre and Simone de Beauvoir, we are forced to question the very nature of authenticity when each gesture, each word, and each silence is subject to public scrutiny and algorithmic interpretation. The smartphone presents a paradoxical form of empowerment that simultaneously restricts individual agency. It offers instant access to global knowledge and social networks, fostering a sense of liberation. Yet this freedom is counterbalanced by the subtle coercion of digital design. Our preferences and behaviors are subtly guided by data-driven mechanisms that channel our choices into predetermined pathways, reducing the exercise of free will. This interplay of liberation and constraint recalls Hannah Arendt's concerns regarding the erosion of the public sphere and the diminishing space for genuine individual discourse in mass society. As the boundaries between public and private dissolve, our ethical responsibilities become intertwined with the technological frameworks that mediate our lives. Furthermore, the smartphone reshapes our emotional landscapes by intensifying the desire for social validation and recognition. In a world where likes, shares, and comments quantify worth, the quest for affirmation can obscure the pursuit of meaningful introspective experience. This dynamic fosters a subtle alienation reminiscent of Theodor Adorno's critique of mass culture, wherein the authenticity of personal emotion is subsumed by the superficial metrics of digital popularity. Such phenomena challenge conventional moral paradigms, urging a reconfiguration of ethics that embraces both technological progress and the sanctity of individual experience. Beyond ethics, smartphone redefines our aesthetic sensibilities by altering how beauty and art are perceived. The digital realm becomes an expansive canvas where artistic expression and cultural critique coalesce, transcending traditional forms and inviting innovative reinterpretations of the sublime. In this transformative space, ethical and aesthetic dimensions merge, creating a fertile ground for reimagining freedom, responsibility, and the essence of what it means to be authentically human in a digitized era. Thus, the ethical and existential challenges posed by the smartphone compel us to reevaluate not only the parameters of modern freedom, but also the very foundation of human identity. In grappling with these dilemmas, we embark on a continuous journey of introspection, striving to reconcile the digital with the deeply personal and the ephemeral with the enduring. In an era where the visual and auditory realms converge, the smartphone reshapes aesthetic experience by recasting cultural production as a dynamic interplay between technology and art. This transformation, reminiscent of Roland Barthes' exploration of the death of the author, positions every digital image, soundbite, and fleeting moment as a fragment of a collective cultural narrative. The device functions not merely as a means of communication, but as an instrument of artistic expression that challenges traditional notions of creativity and originality. Every photograph captured, every video recorded, and every digital drawing shared carries with it an inherent tension between spontaneity and curation, reflecting a world in which the boundaries of art are continually renegotiated. In this evolving landscape, the smartphone becomes a catalyst for democratizing artistic creation and enabling individuals to participate in a global dialogue of visual and textual expression. Drawing on the insights of Umberto Eco, one might argue that the proliferation of digital imagery fosters a new form of semiotic diversity, where symbols and signs are reassembled in unpredictable and innovative ways. This digital reassembly gives rise to a fluid aesthetic, one that defies classical definitions and encourages an appreciation for both the ephemeral and the enduring. The rapid circulation of images and narratives via digital platforms invites a reconsideration of art as an interactive, ever-evolving conversation, rather than a static artifact confined to galleries and museums. Moreover, the aesthetic implications of smartphone usage extend to the realm of narrative construction. The device empowers users to capture and reinterpret their lived experiences, transforming mundane moments into narratives rich with cultural significance. The immediacy of digital recording and sharing has redefined storytelling, allowing for a multiplicity of voices and perspectives to coalesce into a broader, decentralized discourse. This reconfiguration of narrative structure challenges hierarchical modes of storytelling, emphasizing instead a participatory model where every individual contributes to a collective cultural archive. At the intersection of technology and aesthetics, the smartphone embodies both a tool for artistic liberation and a mirror reflecting the evolving zeitgeist of modern society. Its influence permeates every facet of cultural production, compelling us to rethink the parameters of artistic authenticity and to embrace the fluidity of contemporary expression. In this convergence of art, technology, and communal memory, the smartphone not only captures the world as it is, but also reimagines it, inviting us to witness and partake in the ongoing creation of our shared cultural tapestry. This reimagining not only democratizes the power to create and disseminate art, but also challenges established hierarchies, urging individuals to embrace innovative forms of self-expression. In this dynamic process, the smartphone becomes a catalyst for cultural revolution and a reflective lens through which society reinvents its aesthetic identity. In the midst of rapid digital transformation, the smartphone emerges not merely as an intellectual or social mediator, but as a profound extension of the embodied self. This device, seamlessly integrated into the rhythm of daily life, reconfigures sensory perception and reshapes the boundaries between the physical and the virtual. Drawing inspiration from Merleau-Ponty's insights on embodied experience, the smartphone transforms tactile engagement with the world, becoming an interface through which users negotiate a constantly shifting sensory landscape. The vibration of a notification, the glow of a screen, and the subtle haptic feedback of touch all contribute to a multisensory dialogue that blurs the line between external stimuli and internal sensation. This dynamic interplay between technology and embodiment is further enriched by contemporary theories of the cyborg, where Donna Haraway's vision of the posthuman challenges traditional dichotomies between nature and artifact. In this perspective, the smartphone is not a mere tool, but an active extension of the human body, mediating perception and action in ways that were previously unimaginable. It becomes a locus of constant negotiation, where the immediacy of digital interaction intersects with the corporeal realities of lived experience. The integration of digital technology into the sensory domain raises profound questions about adaptation, inviting us to explore how the body evolves to accommodate new forms of mediation, thereby transforming conventional modes of experiencing space and time. Moreover, the omnipresence of the smartphone has engendered a shift in the dynamics of attention and presence. The body, once anchored solely in a physical locale, now exists in a dual state, simultaneously grounded in the tangible world and projected into the digital realm. This duality fosters a novel form of perceptual ambivalence, wherein the immediacy of sensory input is counterbalanced by the detachment inherent in virtual engagement. Consequently, individuals must continuously negotiate the tension between physical presence and digital immersion, a challenge that redefines personal agency and corporeal autonomy. In navigating this embodied digital landscape, users encounter both liberation and constraint. While the smartphone offers unprecedented access to sensory information and real-time connectivity, it also imposes a discipline upon the body, channeling perception into predetermined digital pathways. This paradox underscores the transformative impact of technology on lived experience, urging a re-evaluation of how modernity reshapes the human sensorium. Ultimately, the smartphone calls upon us to reconsider the intimate relationship between our bodies and the digital world, challenging us to forge new modes of embodiment that honour technological progress without forsaking the enduring essence of human sensory experience. Thus, the smartphone not only redefines our sensory engagement, but also invites an ongoing re-examination of what it means to be truly embodied in an era where digital and physical realities converge seamlessly with renewed purpose. In the evolving landscape of digital communication, the smartphone emerges as a pivotal instrument in reconfiguring the public sphere and reshaping democratic discourse. As the boundaries between private interactions and public debate blur, the device facilitates an unprecedented immediacy in sharing ideas, opinions, and critical commentary. This transformation invites us to re-examine the nature of collective deliberation and the processes by which societal consensus is formed. Theorists such as Jürgen Habermas have long argued that the public sphere is essential for genuine democratic participation, and in the digital age, the smartphone becomes both the medium and the catalyst for this renewed engagement. The constant connectivity afforded by smartphones enables individuals to access a multitude of platforms where ideas are exchanged in real time. Social media, messaging applications, and microblogging sites provide spaces where citizens can articulate their perspectives, mobilize collective action, and hold institutions accountable. Yet, this democratization of communication is not without its challenges. The sheer volume of information, combined with algorithmic filtering and echo chambers, often undermines the quality of public debate. As a result, the very tools designed to empower the individual can inadvertently contribute to polarization and the fragmentation of discourse. Drawing on the insights of Michel Foucault, one may observe that power operates not only through overt structures, but also through the subtle mechanisms of discourse and surveillance. The smartphone, as both a repository and transmitter of personal data, facilitates new forms of social control that impact the public sphere. Its role in mediating information flows raises critical questions about the balance between transparency and manipulation in digital communication. In this context, the interplay between state, corporate, and individual influences becomes a complex dance of resistance and conformity. Moreover, the evolution of digital public spaces challenges traditional notions of authority and expertise. The proliferation of citizen journalism and grassroots activism enabled by the smartphone contests the monopoly of established media institutions. However, this shift also demands greater media literacy and critical engagement from the public, who must navigate a labyrinth of competing narratives and unverified claims. In doing so, the modern citizen is called upon to become both a consumer and a producer of information, actively participating in the construction of a collective memory that defines contemporary society. Ultimately, the smartphone's integration into the public sphere signals a profound transformation in how democracy is experienced and practiced. By democratizing access to information and enabling instantaneous communication, it redefines the parameters of civic engagement and challenges us to envision new models of collective deliberation. In this reimagined landscape, the responsibility to foster inclusive, informed, and critical discourse rests not only with institutions, but also with every individual empowered by this digital revolution, ensuring vibrant democratic renewal. In contemplating the future of digital subjectivity, the smartphone emerges as both a harbinger and a catalyst of evolving temporal experiences and interpersonal dynamics. Drawing upon Bernard Stiegler's work on technics and temporality, we recognize that this ubiquitous device reconfigures our perception of time by accelerating the pace at which information is produced, consumed, and forgotten. As digital artifacts proliferate, the smartphone mediates a new form of temporality in which the past, present, and future converge into a continuous stream of data that demands constant reinterpretation. This relentless acceleration fosters a sense of urgency that reshapes our cognitive landscapes, prompting us to confront the fragility of memory and the fleeting nature of human experience. At the same time, the smartphone invites a radical reimagining of intersubjectivity by altering the ways in which individuals connect and communicate. Influenced by Jürgen Habermas's theories on communicative action, we observe that digital interactions, while enabling instantaneous contact across vast distances, also engender a dilution of shared meaning. The immediacy of digital exchange often sacrifices the depth of dialogue, reducing complex emotional and intellectual engagements to rapid bursts of text and imagery. In this context, the device becomes both a bridge and a barrier, facilitating connections while simultaneously fragmenting the collective fabric of human discourse. Moreover, the smartphone catalyzes an emergent form of self-fashioning, where identity is continuously constructed and reconstructed through digital participation. As argued by Michel Foucault, power and knowledge operate through discursive practices that shape the self, and in the digital age, these practices are magnified by the omnipresent influence of algorithmic mediation. Every swipe and notification contributes to an ever-evolving narrative of personal identity, intertwining individual experiences with broader sociocultural codes. This dynamic process not only challenges traditional notions of the autonomous subject, but also underscores the role of technology in orchestrating a complex interplay between freedom and control. In embracing these shifts, contemporary thinkers such as Yuque suggest that the future of digital subjectivity lies in the balance between technological determinism and human creativity. The smartphone, in this vision, is not merely a tool of passive consumption, but an active participant in the ongoing negotiation of meaning and temporality. As we move forward into an increasingly digital epoch, the transformative impact of the smartphone on our collective psyche remains both a profound challenge and a fertile ground for philosophical inquiry. This synthesis of technological acceleration and human ingenuity compels us to reimagine the future, where digital interrelations are not merely consequences of innovation, but catalysts for profound personal and societal transformation. In this light, the smartphone becomes an enduring emblem of our evolving existence, urging us to cultivate resilience and wisdom in the face of relentless change with conviction. At the culmination of this reflective inquiry, the smartphone stands as a multifaceted emblem of modernity, embodying both the promises and perils of our digital era. In its unceasing oscillation between connection and isolation, the device encapsulates the paradoxes that define contemporary existence. It is a mirror reflecting not only the advancements of technology, but also the evolving conditions of human subjectivity, wherein the boundaries between self and other, reality and simulation, become increasingly porous. Rooted in the rich traditions of critical theory and phenomenology, our exploration has revealed that the smartphone operates as an active mediator of cultural memory and personal identity, reshaping the very fabric of social interaction and intellectual engagement. Drawing upon the insights of thinkers such as Heidegger, Baudrillard, and Foucault, we discern that the smartphone transforms everyday experiences into complex arenas of negotiation, where digital interfaces become sites of both empowerment and control. Each notification, image, and message is imbued with symbolic significance, forging an intricate interplay between aesthetic sensibility and ethical responsibility. The device emerges as a dynamic locus where the immediacy of lived experience converges with the reflective depth of scholarly discourse, challenging us to reconcile technological innovation with enduring human values. As we confront the ambivalence inherent in digital mediation, we are compelled to re-examine the principles that underlie our interactions with technology. The smartphone's omnipresence offers a dual narrative, one that celebrates the liberation of instant communication and access to boundless information, and another that warns of the risks of alienation, commodification, and surveillance. In this tension lies the opportunity to cultivate a more conscientious engagement with the digital realm, where critical reflection serves as a bulwark against the dehumanizing forces of modern capitalism. Ultimately, this inquiry is not merely an academic exercise, but a call to embrace a balanced perspective on technological progress. It invites us to harness the transformative potential of the smartphone while remaining vigilant to its implications for personal freedom and societal well-being. In reimagining our relationship with technology, we may foster a more humane digital future that honours both innovation and the intrinsic value of authentic human connection. The smartphone, with all its complexities, stands as a profound testament to the ever-evolving dialogue between technology and philosophy, urging us to persist in our quest for wisdom amid the ceaseless rhythms of modern life. In this final reflection, we acknowledge that our engagement with technology is an ongoing journey, one that demands both critical scrutiny and creative optimism as we navigate the intricate interplay of progress and preservation. Finally, we reflect deeply on technology's dual nature, embracing its power to elevate human experience while remaining mindful of its capacity to erode the core of our shared humanity. Until next time.
This episode of the Deeper Thinking podcast was written, produced and researched by Benjamin James. It was read by Holly, a digital narrator. For further reading, resources and a chance to support the show, visit the episode webpage, where you'll find book recommendations, key topics to explore, and a way to buy me a coffee. And if you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving a review on your preferred platform